So on the eve of Clinton's birthday, she attended some event with Adele, or that Adele was present at. And though Adele cannot vote, she is 100% behind Clinton, who turns 69 tomorrow. Just throw that out there, a little interesting factoid. Um, you know, it got me thinking as I read this article. Endorsements really, at least for me, I feel as if I'm a person who thinks for themselves and doesn't really get tied down with public opinion or let that sway my views, um, in terms of most things anyway. And really, just going through my whole life, I've followed election cycles um, since the 2008 election, just kind of with. I know that's not like a long time or anything, but the point is, I've followed these a little bit more hands on this time around because my interest was full swing. I knew all the candidates, I knew everything, not everything, but a good chunk of what is, what needs to be known. And I couldn't think of a single person who endorsed any of these candidates that actually made me go and say, wow, now I'm tempted to go and vote for that person. Wow, now I know that this person is really good. Now, when I was in a government class last year, um, the instructor told me that endorsements worked a lot of times because people are a fan of someone. People, hold someone in high esteem and look up to someone. Okay, so, like an example would be, let's say Beyonce endorses Obama, which she did, uh, and that sways her fans or her supporters. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but if that's all it takes to sway you, that this person saying, "Oh, I'm voting for this guy," isn't that kind of? I mean, not to say that you're a bad person for that, but isn't? I mean, it doesn't feel right to me because it's as though you're saying the person who is swayed by that isn't free thinking or is so easily influenced. I considered myself at one time to be a fan of Cruz. I still, like him to an extent. And, when he spouts off about being anti-abortion, I don't necessarily agree with that, but I still like him in other ways, and what I'm getting at is I have my disagreements, and one of those disagreements is when he chose to endorse Trump. I still do not support him. I supported Cruz, and still would if he threw his hat back in the ring. But the point is, no matter if he endorsed him, no matter if uh, Jesus came. I'm Catholic. Jesus came down from heaven to earth and said, Trump is the Lord and Savior now, or God stormed down on a cloud and said, sons, daughters, brothers, sisters, rejoice at the name of Trump, the next president of the United States. If even he came down and endorsed him, I still wouldn't care because I'm not someone who. I mean, I have my reasons for being against a person or not wanting that person or being indifferent to a person, and they are not so, I guess, easily argued against that they're just changed immediately. And I'm not someone who's really biased against any of these candidates. So when um, you have some of these music artists, um, like a certain, I don't want to say her name, a certain female rapper, um, who endorsed Trump and then go back on it and talk about women's rights and all that. Even then they operate on this narrative that if he gets in there, abortion is just going to be outlawed, which it won't. And that's getting a little off topic, but the point is, I'm using that as an example of how I consider myself to be well informed or practical enough to know what will happen and what not will happen. Um, and when they do the endorsements, it's almost as if they're telling me, this will happen if you vote for this person, a rainbow will appear in the sky. And I think some of these supporters are so entrenched with That's a good another word to use. I don't think that one was used properly. They're so not hypnotized, but just enamored with the celebrity that they choose to like, that they take their word over their own, and that's a dangerous way to be. But yeah, that's just my spin on this. So, when it comes to endorsements, listen to it, read about it a little bit, read what they have to say, and from that point on, you just make your own choice. I don't get how anyone can go and really give. I mean, I had one of these students that was with me during the Republican primary, which coincided, at least the voting, with my final semester of high school. Um, One of these students, she just acted so surprised. Carson endorsed Trump, and it just was like, who cares? Or was that why does that bother you? Or even when Sanders endorsed Clinton, I mean, you had some woman over there crying because he endorsed her. Well, the thing is, I get the game of politics. I get the game of, you don't like this person, but you think they're better than the other one, so you put your differences aside. Well, forget that. With me, I am a sore loser, and at least when it comes to things of this nature. And because of that, I just choose to not even further involve myself with a lesser candidate. You know, and no endorsement is going to make me um, change my opinion of someone. Not the standard endorsement of just I like this person isn't going to change my opinion. What would change my opinion is if you say I like this person because I think on the economy they can do this by doing this, and I like this person because they can just give outline some reasons, give a kind of a brief summary, almost act like you're the candidate, sort of. Lay down the foundation for why I should support that person. Any person I support, I always have reasons to support. Heck, sometimes I support them just because they're not the other person. Um, but again, that's very rare. Thank you for watching and have a good day.